So you're thinking about buying a Tesla Model Y? Maybe you've watched a dozen reviews, seen the flashy tech demos, and heard all about how electric vehicles will save you money. But here's the thing nobody talks about enough. What does it actually cost to own one after the honeymoon phase is over? Well, I've been living with my Tesla Model Y for exactly 1 year now, and today I'm breaking down every single expense, from the obvious to the sneaky ones that caught me completely off guard. Trust me, some of these numbers are going to surprise you. Let's dive in. Purchase price and financing. Let's start with the elephant in the room, the purchase price. I bought my Tesla Model Y long range, and after taxes, registration, and all the fees that magically appear at the dealership, I was looking at about $52,000. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's a lot of money, and you're absolutely right. But here's where it gets interesting. I qualified for the federal EV tax credit, which knocked $7,500 off my tax bill. Some states offer additional incentives too, so depending on where you live, you could be looking at even more savings. I financed the car with a 5-year loan at 4.2% interest, which means my monthly payment sits at around $850. That's definitely not pocket change, but when you compare it to similarly equipped luxury SUVs from BMW or Audi, the Model Y actually comes in a bit cheaper. Plus, and this is important, Tesla's pricing can be volatile. The month after I bought mine, they dropped the price by $3,000. That stung a little, but such is life with electric vehicles right now, right? Charging costs. Now let's talk about what everyone wants to know. Charging costs. This is where the Tesla really starts to shine, but it's also more complicated than people think. I charge at home about 80% of the time using a level 2 charger I had installed in my garage. The installation cost me about $1,200, which was way more than I expected, but it's a one-time expense. My electricity rate is about 13 cents per kilowatt hour, and I drive roughly 1,200 miles per month. After doing the math, I'm spending approximately $55 a month on home charging. Compare that to the $250 I used to spend on gas with my previous SUV, and we're talking about serious savings, almost $2,400 a year. But the reality check is, I also use Tesla Superchargers when I'm on road trips, and those aren't cheap. Supercharging costs vary wildly depending on location and time of day, but I'm usually paying between 35 to 50 cents per kilowatt hour. Over the past year, I've probably spent an additional $400 on supercharging, so my total charging cost for the year comes to about $1,000. Still way cheaper than gas, but not quite as magical as those costs pennies to charge claims you see online. The truth is, somewhere in the middle, and if you can't charge at home, your savings will be significantly less. Let's talk insurance, because this one shocked me. I'm paying $230 a month for full coverage with a $500 deductible. That's $2,760 per year. Why so high? Well, Teslas are expensive to repair. Those cameras, sensors, and that massive glass roof, they don't come cheap when something goes wrong. Plus, parts availability can be an issue, which means longer repair times and higher costs for insurance companies. I shopped around extensively, got quotes from 8 different companies, and this was the best I could find. If you're young or have any blemishes on your driving record, expect to pay even more. The good news is that Tesla does offer their own insurance in some states, and I've heard it can be cheaper if you're a safe driver and let them monitor your driving habits. But it's not available everywhere yet. Maintenance and repairs. Here's where Tesla really delivers on the promise. Maintenance is basically non-existent. Over the past year, I've spent exactly $215 on maintenance. That included a tire rotation at a local shop for $80, replacing the cabin air filter myself for $35, and topping off the windshield washer fluid, which is basically free. No oil changes, no transmission fluid, no spark plugs, no exhaust system issues, none of that. My previous car would cost me at least $800 to $1,000 a year in routine maintenance alone. Now, I haven't needed any repairs yet, which is great, but I do want to mention that Tesla's warranty situation is solid. 8 years or 120,000 miles on the battery and drive unit.
4 years or 50,000 miles on everything else. But if you do need repairs after warranty, be prepared. Tesla service centers aren't cheap, and they're often booked weeks in advance. I've also heard horror stories about people waiting months for parts. I haven't experienced this personally, but it's something to keep in mind. One thing I did spend money on was paint protection film for the front end, $600. Tesla's paint is notoriously soft and chips easily. Not required, but highly recommended if you want to keep the car looking good. Tires and consumables. Tires are an interesting story with the Model Y. Because of the instant torque and the weight of the battery, these cars chew through tires faster than regular vehicles. I'm at about 15,000 miles now, and my tires still have decent tread, but I'm expecting to replace them around 30,000 miles. A set of quality tires for the Model Y runs about $800 to $1,200 depending on what you choose, so I'm budgeting about $400 per year for tires, though I haven't had to pay that yet. Wiper blades are cheap, $30 when I replace them. Brake pads should last well over 100,000 miles thanks to regenerative braking, so that's basically a non-issue for years. The biggest consumable cost? Windshield washer fluid, because I'm weirdly paranoid about keeping the windshield clean so the autopilot cameras work properly. But we're talking maybe $20 a year. Overall, consumables are minimal.
Now let's talk about the costs nobody wants to discuss: depreciation. Electric vehicles, especially Teslas, have had wild depreciation swings. When I first got my car, used Model Ys were selling for almost as much as new ones because of the shortage. Now, with Tesla dropping prices multiple times, my car is probably depreciated about $8,000 to $10,000 in 1 year. That's rough. However, this is partially offset by the fact that I'm not paying as much for gas and maintenance, and depreciation is only realized when you sell. If you're planning to keep the car for 5 to 7 years, the depreciation curve flattens out significantly. Hidden costs I didn't expect? Well, I upgraded my home electrical panel to support the Level 2 charger, which added another $700. I bought the Tesla wall connector instead of using the mobile connector because it's faster and more convenient. That was another $450. I also subscribed to Tesla's premium connectivity for $10 a month to keep features like live traffic visualization and streaming music working. That's $120 a year. Is it necessary? No. Do I want it? Yes. These little subscriptions and upgrades add up in ways that traditional cars just don't. So let's add everything up and get real about what this car actually costs to own. Year 1 expenses: financing at $10,200 in payments, insurance at $2,760, charging at around $1,000, maintenance at $215, and let's throw in another $500 for miscellaneous stuff like the paint protection and accessories. That's roughly $14,675 for the first year, not including the upfront costs like the charger installation. Compare that to my previous gas SUV, which cost me about $12,000 a year to run, and the difference isn't as dramatic as the hype suggests. But here's the thing: year 2 and beyond is where the Tesla really starts to win. No more charger installation costs, way lower fuel costs, minimal maintenance. If I keep this car for 5 years, the total cost of ownership will likely be significantly lower than a comparable gas vehicle. So is the Tesla Model Y worth it? Honestly, it depends on your situation. If you can charge at home, qualify for the tax credits, and plan to keep the car long term, the numbers work out pretty well. The driving experience is phenomenal, the tech is years ahead of competitors, and yes, you will save money on gas and maintenance, but if you're buying it solely to save money and you're financing the whole thing with high interest, you might want to run the numbers carefully. It's an amazing car, but it's not a magic money printing machine. Would I buy it again? Absolutely, but I went in with realistic expectations, and that made all the difference. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more real-world EV ownership content. Drop a comment below if you have questions about Tesla ownership. I read every single one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.